Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Curious is Better podcast. I'm Craig Lamb with Invative, and today we got a really good one. We got Jonatan Prestini from Tacolicious. Thank you for joining, Jonathan. I appreciate it very much. I want to dive right in, okay? Because you've been in hospitality for over 30 years across two continents, and I want to let's just start with your journey. Like, how did you end up where you are? And give me some background.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be able to talk a little bit about my experience with hospitality and also my background. As you mentioned, I've been working with hospitality for over 30 years. I'm 43 years old right now, but I remember with 10 years old, I used to sell like chips on the beach, and being an entrepreneur, helping my dad. I grew up with my dad, being able to see how amazing was the way that he was being in touch with customers, the passion that he put to talk with customers, and doesn't matter what kind of customers, can be kid, woman, man's, old, young. It's about passion. It's about how he delivered his passion with every single customer and how he was able to grow his business from scratch and uh, to have more and more customers, like loyalty customers, regular customers. And this
So
was
you
my
got
journey.
involved back in Brazil when you were a kid.
Wow. Well, since 10 years old, I was with him, working with him, helping him to do everything. Uh, we used to have all different kind of business like grocery store, bakery, restaurants. Like my whole life was involved with hospitality. I say 30 years, but I would say maybe since I born, I was growing with my dad and learning a little bit of the passion with hospitality.
Gotcha. And so you migrated from Brazil to California. For you, what was the biggest culture shock in business, and just the way things are done differently between America and Brazil
If
in construction?
Right. If we talk about hospitality, and I believe that Brazilians has this I won't say attitude, but this personality to be like warm, to be in touch with people, to have a relationship with customers. And there, hospitality for us is this. If you have a chance to go to Brazil, or if you are listening this podcast right now and you have been in Brazil, you know, doesn't matter what kind of business you go. If you have a server, if you have someone to help you, we always deliver the best that we can. And when I came from Brazil, I felt I feel the difference of the passion, the warm touch that Brazilian has. And when I started to work in hospitality here, well, actually was two big gaps. One was the language. As you can see, I'm a fluent in English, but I have a strong accent. But it's different when you need to learn a different language, and especially different words with, like, I would say, specific words when you're working with a different business. And my big challenge when I started to work here was literally to know the best way to pronunciate the best words, the right words,
Right.
and
So,
also the way that customer deal with people. Right.
yeah, yeah. All right. So let's get into where you are now. So you are the GM at Tacolicious,
Correct.
right? And you and I have spoken earlier, so I'm going to rehash some of the stuff we talked about. Is that you recently transitioned to POS, right?
Right.
And you had a very intentional, strategic reason why. So, like,
Right.
what factored into making changes like that? Because that's a big change, especially in the restaurant business. So,
It
what
is,
about that?
and actually was a big challenge. So Tacolicious is a big company. We have five restaurants. The first and main reason that we changed the POS was to keep all the POS equal, the same POS for every single store. We
Mm.
starting one of the Tacolicious. We used to have. Can I say the name of the POS?
Sure.
Okay, so one of the restaurants we used to have Spot On, and all the rest of the locations we used to have Revel. So first of all, we need to have the same POS, to have the same language, the same file, the same information for every single store. Instead, say one thing, another one say a different like spreadsheet or data.
Mhm.
We are trying to have the same one for every single one. And the second one is to have like a easy approach with clients. Once you have your POS, your hand holder, to take orders, to get more details, to get your revenue, to get all your data from today, from the week, from the month, for the year. So it was easier the one that we are using right now. So this is the main
Right.
reason.
So
But
you
of
wanted to
course,
be congruent. You wanted every restaurant to be on the same one, and it wasn't. It
and
was fracted, right? So I mean,
correct,
as it was growing, it'd be usually a manager of the restaurant might make a decision to use whatever POS, and then it's just there, right? There's only
correct.
a handful of them that are leading the industry. You and I talked before, and I don't want to impose my opinion on this, but I'm curious what you think. Do you think that restaurants and the restaurant industry in general tend to lag behind on technical adoption? Do you think that they put people after it, or do they evaluate different layers of tech to optimize? Because it's like, in my experience, and then I'm going to shut up, I promise. It's like they'll get a POS and they might do DoorDash because it's like got it's low friction, low impact, and it adds some layer of convenience easily, right? But as far as actually in their restaurants or across their multiple restaurants, and if they're a situation like yours, do you think that they lag behind in looking for different types of tech to help with optimization and implementing?
Well, let's talk about technology in the restaurant. Like you mentioned, DoorDash. DoorDash is amazing because even if we need to pay like fee to use DoorDash or all different kind of platform that can bring revenue for you, uh, I think it's a great opportunity to bring more business. But once we talk about technology in the restaurant and talking about managers, owners, servers, this is a big challenge. And when I say it's a big challenge, because we don't have time. Uh, Usually, we need to work with schedule, we need to work with labor cost, and to be able to have to do training, for example, or to use the technology with our employees, or we need to pay extra time for the labor to be there to treat to learn, or we need to have a big group to work, and this the labor will be higher. So the big challenge to put technology in the restaurant is how we're going to deal with the technology, how we're going to use the technology to make sure that we can provide the best service and the server provide the best service for our customers. And time, I think that's the big gap, the big challenge, to put someone in front of the computer or to use technology to make sure that they will be able to train. And once again, in the hospitality industry, especially here in Bay Area, we can see a lot of people from different countries working, like from Guatemala, from Mexico, from even from Brazil. And the big challenge is the language. So or you know what you're doing or you need to learn, and to stop to learn, it's super hard because we don't have time. And to stop to learn in your house is even worse because usually you need to have two jobs, three jobs to be able to pay your rental, to pay your bills.
For sure.
Time is the big challenge.
Gotcha. Well, when you and I spoke before, you mentioned like seven shifts, stuff like that, right? So
Right.
you're using tools like that, but then you, as a GM, like what data or insights, things that you can gather about your staff and the business from something like that? Like how are you leveraging
Well, seven
as an
shifts.
employee?
It's yeah, seven shifts is important to track your employees, especially schedule. We use seven shifts especially for schedule. I used to work for a different restaurant, and also seven shift was able to send the reports, the daily report. But it's all different business and different way to see the business. At Tacolicious, we use as time shift, so literally to know to track employees. But at Tacolicious, we have a different approach to training our employees. We use a different technology with cards, like a real time training that we are able to training our staffs at the field, like while we are working, while we are doing our lineup. It's not every single restaurant that does the lineup, but we should because it's the best moment to talk about specials that you have of the day or new menus, new items, or a new cocktail or a new something, or something that happened the preview day that we can adjust, like a issue. So lineup, it's super important. And this is the moment that we can do like a short training, 15, 20 minutes to help our servers, especially to learn and to learn the best way, which is like training and training and training
So
to
you're
be
talking about what you
able
were
to learn.
talking to me about that deck of hospitality, like how you.
Yes, we use
Right.
deck of hospitality because it's something that you don't need to sit in front of the computer to training. You literally have like literally a deck of cards that you have the question, the answer, and they need to actually act the situation to make sure that once we have the customer in front of us, we won't make the same mistakes.
Gotcha. You had said a couple things that kind of I wanted to lock in on because you're in the Bay Area, which is crazy expensive, and I'm in New York, close
Yeah,
second. You know, to
expensive as well.
and you know the thing of the restaurants that's in Manhattan anyway. The restaurants in Manhattan, it's like we have conversations with them. It's all about focus on like table turns, how long someone's going to be there, selling the the most expensive, largest margin stuff on the menu. How is that done? How is it presented? How's it presented by the server? And all these other things. Do you take any of that into consideration at Tacolicious? Like, are you analyzing things like that? And then, if you are, what kind of tools? And then we'll put a button in this one. But and then I want to know if you're using like any AI modeling to help optimize on the internet stuff. So I just said a lot, but
No, no,
you
no.
know.
It's important. So, funny story. When I was working for a steakhouse, the turnover for each table was about 2 hours. Tacolicious is much faster. So, if we don't provide the best service immediately, we will lose the client. And the turnover for each customer is about 30 to 40 minutes. It's super fast. So
Mhm.
the customer seat, they already know what they want. If we don't follow all the steps, we will miss opportunities to upsell. Quick example. The customer sit at the table, we greet the table, we offer something to drink, and then they can order. Let's talk about tacos because Tacolicious.
Mhm.
To put the tacos on the table is literally less than 5 minutes.
Mhm.
So if we don't follow all the steps of service, we will lose the opportunity to upsell. And how we can track this with the POS that we use today, spot on, we can see how long the customer is on the table. So I can see literally customers with 20, 30 minutes leaving. It's fast. And they eat and go, they eat and go. And of course, more evening time, we also have happy hour. We can see a little longer, but it's rare when you see people more than 1 hour at the restaurant. So the service needs to be fast, the turn is fast, and we need to provide the best service and to use all the opportunities to upsell. And we track all this data with, in our case right now, with Spot On, because
Mhm.
we can see when we open the table, when we close the table, we close the check, and we can see how long they were waiting there or they were eating there.
Interesting. Have you investigated anything as far as using AI tools to make sure that your assumptions and upsell opportunities are in line, or they might be or uncovered by looking at
Honestly, I
some.
didn't. I didn't.
Yeah, I'm curious about it because it's like, so I don't know the answer because I don't know the business like you know the business, but I wonder if there's indicators that could be applied to the POS data that reveal like where the best upsells are based on like day of the week, time of the day, and things like that. Because I have a full appreciation. I understand where you're coming from. It's like using tech to optimize at the service level may be difficult, right? Because there's onboarding, there's the maintenance of things like that. That's why there's the POS. I get that. And I understand restaurants' apprehensions to spend money on technology when the margins are this big, right? And you have to make sure that you do the absolute best with what you have. And a lot of times it's like tech might not be the answer for optimization. So these other services like the Door Dashes of the world can present an easy entree into establishing or offering an innovation really at no cost and really no risk. But I wonder, if we ever took a look at those, and this is all hypothetical, but you take a look at them and you wonder if there were patterns that you could see that, like, Wednesday at 5 o'clock at whatever particular happy hour, the most popular thing is blah, blah, blah. And the reason is because traffic on your street is the most, congested. Who
It would
knows,
be
right?
amazing actually to have something like that. What we can see, of course, the items that we sold, if they spend more time with us, why they spend more time, if it's like lunchtime or evening time. Of course, lunchtime, they eat quickly because they need to go back to work. Evening time, they spend more time because after that, they just need to go home. They don't need to go back to work. As you mentioned, like to track, oh, like every Wednesday, 5 o'clock, we have much more customers because this, and that. This is a
Mhm.
great tool. If we have the opportunity to have something like that, to track, to know. uh, whatever the weather, or for example, July. We are in July right now. It's the worst month of the year, especially here for us.
Well,
And talking
sure.
about where one of our stores is, which is in Palo Alto, it's completely tech. So we have Silicon Valley, we have people in vacation, we have kids that are not going to school. So how can we track? How can we find where the customer is? This is amazing if we
Yeah.
have opportunity. Yeah.
Do you think that the industry supports that type of stuff? Are you expecting that the hospitality industry is going to start coming out with tools to accommodate this stuff, or do you think that they're farther down the bell curve?
I don't think that this is the future. I think that this is the reality. If we don't do something to find new customers, to track the customers, uh, to be able to know where they are and how can we bring them to the restaurant, we're gonna lose
Yeah.
business. We need to track. This is the reality right now. I won't say future. This is reality. If you don't change, you will close your doors. There's no way.
Well, then I'll ask you this too, because I ask this a lot of people. If time and budget were not constraints, you have all the time and you have all the budget. What technology or what innovation idea would you bring to Tacolicious or to the industry that you see as the biggest gap or the biggest?
Definitely, if I have something that I can track easily where the customer are, and I'm not talking about customer that actually is with us all the time. I'm talking about new customers that are in the neighbors but not coming to us or doesn't know about Tacolicious or whatever, what kind of business would be amazing. The percent, like for example, I want to do a new promotion or I need to find. I have a new menu and I want to reach new customers. And if I have something that I can provide for the business that I can find new customers, I have no doubt people for sure will start to use this kind of technology.
Yeah, but I mean, you
And
have your POS arguably has the at least the seeds of that, right? So if you have John Doe comes into Tacolicious for the first time, and then there's some demographic that's applied based on like you can make some assumptions. He pays with using his phone. He might be a millennial. If he pays in cash, he might be a retiree. Like there's some stuff assumptions, redacted assumptions you can make, but then if that person comes again because they use the same credit card or same payment type, whatever, because you can see that there's a repeat and they're in a different location or there's trends. Like there's seeds of data there, right? But it's just not aggregated or made useful, right?
right,
And then from that, you could start saying, well, okay, why did we only see him for the first time this time? He or she the first time this time. Why didn't we see him again a week later? Instead, we saw him 2 months later. Why is that? And like I think you're asking all the right questions. It's just I think a lot of the POS data might have the kernels of that, but it really needs like some strong analytics. And again, I think again, my opinion, and I don't have the experience in hospitality that you do, is that hospitality is like it's fickle. Like people could be in the mood for tacos. It's just that simple, right?
right.
Like we're gonna go,
I
and,
need
and then
a nice margarita. I need to
that's right.
relax my day, just sit outside, nice weather, have a super refreshing margarita and tacos in nice environment, like a super
But it
fun
might be
environment.
something else entirely. It might be that they work at a company, and when they get clients in, they're so impressed by it, they bring every client to try Tacolicious because they're proud of it.
Right.
Represent who knows, but that would be valuable data for sure.
Data is data.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I like just a little bit out of the topic, but I started to do one promotion literally to get data with Instagram. I don't know if you uh, literally. I have just a little folder on the table with
Mhm.
free margarita and another side free churros. To get your free churros or free margarita, you just need to go in, you scan the QR code. There's a little steps on Instagram that you put your name, where you are, which location you are, and literally you answer a few questions on the DM, the direct message,
Yep.
and you have your coupon, you have your margarita. And why I start to do this? Because I need the data. I need the data for Instagram because when I do my ads, I can say, I need you to check those
You want
customers
to
that
target. You want
are
to target. Yeah.
in the target and
Yeah.
show for people that never heard about it, but have the same lookalike, the same ideas, the same concept. So this helps a lot to bring people. But this is literally a simple automation on Instagram that we can use the data. Again, how important is the data to bring similar customers for us? And it's
Yeah.
working.
Yeah, I bet. Well, so let's use that little story too to kind of put a bow on this. What advice would you give to other leaders in restaurants and hospitality, and how to explore or ideate um, using technology with, without losing, of course, what you talked about, human touch, right? Because that's what drew you in. You like that, of people feeling
Right.
like welcome. So,
Well, the first advice is don't overthinking about labor all the time, because this is something that you stop to bring new ideas because you're just thinking about labor. As a manager, I have the same pressure from owners that we need to reach the labor, we need to leave the labor, because if we spend that amount of money with labor, we're going to lose the business. Labor is important, but if you stop a little bit and starts to read, to check your data, your information, as you even mentioned, like little details. This is a new customer. This is customer that it's regular for us. This is so important to grow your business that sometimes you spend 1 hour of your week, not even your day, 1 hour of your week to check your data. You're able to grow your business. And what I'm saying is, if I have a server that are able to sell a little bit more because they spend 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes extra on the table and explain the better way the menu, or try to upsell without be pushy one item. Let's say steakhouse, you have steak, filet mignon with apois sauce. If the customer just wants the filet mignon, you say you'd like to pair your filet mignon with a nice Pinot Noir or a Cabernet Sauvignon. The just way, the best way that you can say without be pushy, it's the best way you can upsell. And how you can see with data, you can see the best server is the one that can sell the average ticket higher than another one. They can
right.
keep customers for more time.
Yeah, and I don't want to interrupt, but like it keeps getting back to this, which blows my mind. It's like you talk about the best server does the update, but like, wouldn't it be awesome to analyze what that best server is? Like, how many visits do they make to that table in their visit? If they're there 45 minutes, do they
Incredible.
stop like 3 times or 4 times, whatever it is, and then they ask these questions, or they call them by Mr. and Mrs. whatever, you like greet
Oh
them
my gosh.
beyond all these touch points where it's like, that's what separates someone who's able to upsell who's not, which results in a higher tip, which results in more sales for Tacolicious, the restaurant. But I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know of any tool that's doing that analysis. But I mean, I think you nailed it. I think you nailed
it's
it.
it's it's so important. And honestly, we have customers that of course we know by the name. And one thing that I always say, before you drop the check on the table, double check the card. You can see the name. Thank you,
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Craig. Thank you so much for coming. When you see the customer again and you call him by name, he'll say, what, how he
That's right.
knows my name?
That's right.
Or, for example, the automation that I did, I have access on my Instagram for every people that are scan the QR code, and then I say, "Oh, I'm so happy to have you here. You, for example, you work for a real estate company. What? How do you know that? It's data.
Mm-hmm.
Well, doesn't matter how I know, but I know that I know, and bring the customer with you. Like, whoa, I want to go back there. That guy is so nice. That guy called me by name. He knows my allergies, my dietary restriction. He knows what kind of drink do I like, what kind of tacos do I like, if I like spicy or mild or this and that. This is just gold,
I'm with
100%.
you. Listen, thanks so much for joining this. This was a good one. I like this conversation was great, and I know that you and I will be talking again soon. So, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for
It's my
joining.
pleasure, and I would love to have another opportunity to bring more information, to try new tools, to bring more data, to get more details, and maybe help new managers or people that work with hospitality to
Oh, we'll
bring
definitely
new
circle
ideas.
back. We'll definitely circle back.